Miri Rodriguez, welcome to my living room.
Thank you. That's a great living room. Full of snacks.
Yes, full of snacks. I had my sponsors here today. We're just improvising in this crazy time that we're in right now. Where are you calling in from?
Seattle. Yeah, it's a
Wow.
beautiful day today. I don't know if you could see the city behind me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, at least the weather's good because here it's always rainy. So that when you're home and it's rainy, it's just a bad combination. So I'm glad it's sunny.
Well, I am literally, hold on, if you could see that, on the opposite end of the country.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Wow.
Looking sky. How cool is that we're like completely
that.
totally opposite? That's
I know. That's amazing to me. Technology is just wonderful. Yes, I love it. It looks like it's a little cloudy. So how's the weather there?
It's hit or miss. It's the sun's been coming out sometimes, but you really can't enjoy it. They've closed our parks.
I know.
It's just a disaster.
It really is.
And we're on the epicenter. So I'm in Jersey City. I mean, we have well over 1,000 cases. As you saw, Manhattan right across the river. I think 700 deaths in one day. I mean, it's just so sad what's happening.
It's unfathomable. I don't know that we were ever mentally prepared for anything like this. And just thinking of every day, there's a different thing happening, different statistic. It's almost the idea that it's just never ending. And so I think that's even the worst part, is that we don't know what's happening, what will happen tomorrow, and then what's going to happen after. It's just that's so uncertain,
Yeah. So you are the author of the book Brand Storytelling, and you're a Microsoft storyteller.
I am.
What does that entail? Oh, I love your book. Wait, hold up your book cover. Oh, that's a really good book cover.
Yeah, thank you. I'm actually rereading it just because I'm really self-critical. It's the third time, and just to show you a little bit, this is something I gave to some of my friends and family. This is a book holder, which, as you can tell, is a cassette tape. Yeah. It's really cute. I did that on purpose because I will know if they read it, because I make mention here to the 80s, because I'm an 80s child. So I start and end with that. And I'm like, if they read it, I'll know, because they're going to be like, oh, that's why. So it's my own test of who's reading my book for my family and friends. Storytelling. It's Storytellers at Microsoft. We have actually 400 here in Seattle, 4,000 worldwide. So I'm not the only one. And we have us across functions all over, not just marketing or sales or even comms. It really is across different functions at Microsoft. And this came from, an idea. Satya Nadella, our CEO, when he came on board about 6 years ago, he actually wrote his own book about his experience of empathy, and he went out to rewrite our mission as well. So, to empower every person and organization on the planet became our new mission. It really is around this idea of doing business with empathy, of connecting really one-on-one at the human level. I think that's even more pervasive today, but that was the mantra. That was the way that we were going out to redo business, to think about customer centricity that way. And so functions around and across Microsoft throughout the world decided, hey, we need to start communicating through stories. This is the way that we are innately and connected one-on-one. It doesn't feel, it shouldn't be salesy. It shouldn't be dry, high-tech content. It's data-driven. So how do we turn that into human connection? And so storytellers were born at Microsoft. We brought a chief storytelling officer, a chief storyteller who came from UK. So we have a big group of storytellers, and we go out and we tell stories in our own function, and it's really, really fun.
That is so cool. So what did your work with Microsoft spur you into writing the book?
Yes, actually, it is exactly my stories of failure, how I failed royally in my first 3 months doing this work, because I was brought in to do stories around data and AI in engineering. So I'm definitely not an engineer. I wish I was, but I'm not. And so I was brought in and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know where to start. So I went out and I started reaching out to people in the industry, different types of industry that call themselves storytellers. I went out and just did a lot of research for 3 months. I was failing so much. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're going to fire me. me because I don't know how to do this. And so at the time I was actually taking a master's course, and it was design thinking. So I approached my professor and I was like, hey, can we prototype stories? Is that a thing? And she's like, absolutely, you can do whatever you want. So I was like, okay. So I used my own work and I started prototyping stories using the design thinking approach, and it worked. And I was like, oh my gosh, this actually was successful. And then everyone within Microsoft, other storytellers and other functions were like, hey, Miri, teach us how to do that too. So I went across Microsoft, and even beyond Microsoft. And so, the book is exactly that: how to use storytelling, how to design your stories. So.
Absolutely. Well, right now there's a lot of inspiration, I guess, in writing different kinds of stories. But I guess this is a good time for brands and businesses to hunker down and I guess figure out what story they want to tell, right?
I think this is the best time to not only think about the story, the brand, and what they stand for, but truly even pivot if they have to. I've had brands ask me, should we keep us normal, keep our own, like there's this brand that came to me, and they're typically, kind of in their voice and tone, very, very out there, very loud, and very, they're very happy. And they're like, should we continue this tone? And I was like, well, maybe not. What does your audience tell you, right? I mean, is it a time to continue that and maybe it brings joy, or is it time to be empathetic to what they're feeling? Only brands really need to take time to understand their audiences in this moment and think about how their brand positions itself in this moment of uncertainty and truly a global tragedy. And how they do that is through stories. How is their story resonating with them? How are they changing the narrative to actually land it best with their audiences? And it's definitely done through empathy. I cannot enforce that enough. I actually was not empathetic. I learned that you can become an empath. When I started the work, I did a test. And I took a test. It's called Clifton Strengths, and it's like 35 attributes, and your top ones are your strengths, and then the lower ones are not your strengths. And mine was empathy was 33 out of 35. Like clearly not an empathetic person. It was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to go do this work if I can't even be empathetic? And then I learned this soft skill, so we can all truly hone into empathy. To talk to our customers and our clients and our stakeholders differently. And I think this is historic for brands. I think the way the brands go out and the way that they connect with their customers and their stakeholders will live longer in the memories of how they acted. We have to remember that in the research that I did, brands are being seen as human, as friends, as entities that have a voice. And if they don't stand up for something, or if they don't do something in the social space in terms of social advocacy, what's happening, people will remember that. And that's a strong message that we're sending to society.
Have you seen brands, because I've been paying attention to television commercials, social media messages. Are there brands that you've seen that are doing this really well and then aren't doing it very well?
Yeah, if you have been, you'll know that Corona hasn't said anything. The brand Corona has just stopped advertising, stopped tweeting. I think it was March 13th, but was their last tweet, if I remember correctly. I was also watching them to see what they were going to do. And what's interesting, and I actually went to buy food, and I went by the liquor aisle, and there was like maybe two 6-packs left. And I was like, wow, people are actually buying Corona, which I think is interesting. So it'd be interesting to see once we come out of this what they say. But I think it's very smart of them to do this. It's very smart of them to not advertise at this moment. And whoever made that decision really thought it through, and they're doing a good job, even because their hashtag, actually their slogan is, I think, is live fully or something like this. So it's just really ironic that this whole thing is happening. So I think that I think it's live fully, or so I think that's a brand that's being intelligent and thinking empathetically about what's going on. Brands that I've seen do well are also the hotel industry. So I know they're getting hit very hard. Seen Marriott connect. I'm a subscriber to the content, and they're sending out consistent emails around. We understand what's happening. They're actually helping people kind of reconnect with the brand at the nostalgia era of like, remember when you traveled. So it's almost like you can't travel right now, but we'll get back there. And I think that's great. It's thinking about, hey, this is not permanent. It's temporary. So that reminder is really nice from actually Marriott, who's getting hit extremely hard at this moment. So I've seen them do that. And of course, we've seen from an industry perspective, I think brands that have pivoted their services to serve the industries right now, we've seen like the MLB brands that are actually building the uniforms, they're pivoting to actually create the scrubs, and those kind of things. I think that's so wonderful that we're seeing in the midst of all of this, the interconnectedness that we have with brands, how we see them, and what we expect of them as humans today, and how they're serving the community is really how they're going to win in general.
And there's a lot that we can learn from them, from looking at these bigger companies.
100% Microsoft. And, again, I try to not toot our own horn, but I have to say Microsoft. I'm every day we're getting emails from our leadership around what Microsoft is doing proactively. It's on so many levels. I'm just so happy to be a part of this brand, because again, we attach ourselves to missions. We are, our generation is one that wants to serve and wants to have a purpose, and so we work for companies that have purpose. And so when I see what Microsoft is doing, things like offering the Azure services and Teams and our technology in general for people to be able to connect with each other. We typically have a month called Give. That's in October. We've actually extended it to April. So a match, 100% match from employee giving to organizations. Microsoft will match 100%. So it's just, our brand really is about empowering the world on so many levels. And our internships, we decided to not cancel them when a lot of companies a lot of industries have. We're going to go do virtual internships for 4,000 plus students around here in the US, around the world. And so we are truly trying to have that minimal impact and instead actually help in the best way that we can our community and serve everyone.
That is awesome. Well, I want to just ask about you now. How are you spending this time in quarantine?
Well, I actually travel a lot, and my family is very mobile. So it's funny. We had turned mobile a couple of years ago. We decided Mom would be traveling, so I want the kids to come along with me, and I have two boys. And so they went online. So my children actually do online school already. I have one that's graduating this year, and he's doing a dual enrollment, so he actually takes online college courses. And then the other one's he's a sophomore, so he's taking online courses as well. So to them, it's not a lot different. To me, it is, because I'm used to being, on a plane and living that life. And so I haven't been home in a long time, this long. And I think what's even more, I guess impactful to me is to see the city so isolated. There's nothing happening. And we live in a foodie town. It's a lot going on. And this right now, April, May, this is the months where it's just like it's springtime, and the parks are just so beautiful. So it hasn't been easy. I have to be honest. I've had to really work on my yoga and meditation to not feel claustrophobia. And I'm very connected to people. I love hosting. And so not having people around me, people energize me. And so it's been tough. It hasn't been easy.
No, do you know, I'm doing 17 of these interviews today for that personal interaction. My husband is like, how do you have the energy? But it's, because I pop in on the Zoom.
Yeah.
It's fun. I can't believe it's 1:00 and, and I have a lot more to go, but it's just so fun to meet people from around the country, from all different industries and walks of life, and just kind of document this crazy time that we're living in right now, because it's historic. My grandparents are 87 and 91. So yeah, so they've lived through, they've immigrated to America from Italy. They were little growing up in the Great Depression, World War II. They've never seen anything like this. They are in shock over what's going on right now.
What do they say? I'm curious.
My grandfather is afraid to even poke his head outside because he thinks it's in the air, and they have to watch because they're older. They're upset because it's Easter on Sunday.
I know.
To not be with family, we're supposed to, so
yes.
They're watching the news, which is obviously not the best thing to do. And, but they're Italian, they cook every day. So they're laughing at me because I'm complaining that I'm cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They're like, hello, welcome to our life. This is hard. So I'm calling my grandmother, Grandma, what can I cook? Because I'm at a loss. I just want to order something. And
yes. Yeah, exactly. Wait, have they taught you to make the red sauce? Please say yes, because that's like the most
Well,
amazing.
I have red sauce. You know, they make their own sauce.
Yeah.
They've slowed down, but I
Mhm.
mean, they've done in the past their own sauce, their own wine, their own sausage. My
Wow.
grandfather this year is the first year he's not doing the garden because again at 91, and it's
I,
kind of a good year for him to have stopped, right? But
yes.
he has
Wow.
fig trees, tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, pumpkins, you name it, they grow it.
Um, I love them, and that's why they're so healthy too. Definitely.
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
know.
because think about it. Because from eating out, you don't know
Yeah.
what's in the food.
You don't know the quality.
They
You don't
always
know what
lived
you're
that
getting.
organic lifestyle.
That's right. They did. They
And
did.
it's hard.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
It is. It is. I hope you guys get to do Easter at least, connecting with each other. For us, it's the same thing. We're very Easter to us. It's a very solemn holiday, and it's really sad that we won't be able to be with family either. But especially Latin families, Italians, I'm Venezuelan, so I get it. I get it. These are times where, again, it's just. I mean, my son's not gonna get to walk, at his graduation. He's a senior. They sent the email, and he's like, "Mom, I worked for this my whole life." And I was like, "I know, son." And it's just, but then you think about the people that are actually passing from this. I mean, it's just, to me, it's incredible. I don't know how to feel sometimes. I don't know how to feel sometimes about, why am I even worried about my son when there's actually people dying from this? It's really, I think the biggest thing I have learned from COVID is the impact of our interconnectedness, that we are all connected, we are all one, and that one person at an individual level, what they do, it has the potential to affect masses. And, we were growing up in a society where meism is a thing, where you do you is a thing, but truly, truly, this is teaching us how we are one. We are one, and what we do, positively or negatively, will impact.
Awesome. Well, Mary, this was I could talk to you all day.
You too.
Let me know when you're in New Jersey or New York.
Oh, I'm actually going, I'm supposed to go in October. Hopefully that won't change. And I will absolutely love to connect
Absolutely.
with you. I would love to meet your grandparents. I think I
Oh,
could sit
they
with
would
them
love to
and
cook for you.
hear their stories. Oh my gosh. I will visit them and talk, hear them all day long. I just lost my grandma, my last one, and she was 95. So she lived that wonderful life. And we lost her about a month ago. So enjoy them. Enjoy them all. And hear their stories. Ask them about when they were teenagers, and ask them about all the story. It's just gold. So
Yeah.
Storytelling is the most wonderful thing.
Yeah, no, they're like my second parents. So yeah.
Love it.
Oh, good. Well, before we go, where can I get your book, and where can everyone?
Oh yeah, stories. How to tell your stories, how to design them with empathy and vulnerability. Yeah, I have so you can go to brandstorytellingbook.com and you can hear all about it and get more information about it. MiriRod.com, my website. You also get a little story of why I wrote the book and what came of it. So you'll get ideas, and I'd love to connect with everyone. So please come talk to me more about storytelling.
Awesome. All right, Mary, well, keep healthy and safe. Congratulations on your son's graduation, because it is important.
It is.
It is. And, he'll make up. Where is he going to college?
So he wants to go to Miami because that's where we came from. So he wants to go back to. Yeah. So he's excited.
Well, I hope that he can start his freshman year and dorm and everything be back to normal soon. So
thank you, Lisa, and best wishes to you and your family. I hope you're eating your snacks, but also cooking. That's important. That's good. So
yes, absolutely, Mary. All right, take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.